What's up guys, it's Russell again. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe because I do tons of awesome reviews on stock alert services, investing services and option services. And today I'm going to talk about Paul Mampilly, who does a service called Profits Unlimited. And I want to go through it and show you why or why not you should subscribe to this service. So keep watching and make sure that you know for sure whether this is a service that might be right for you. So Paul Mampilly is an interesting character. He runs a service called Profits Unlimited, which is a longer-term investing service. So normally I do reviews of short-term penny stock traders or options trades, but Profits Unlimited is really a service for if you want to buy a stock and hold it for big gains over multiple years. So this was first brought to my attention by my friend Mark, and anybody who's familiar with the channel will have probably seen a couple of reviews of Mark before. The stuff that Mark does is he buys these sort of lower cost investment newsletters and then reviews them for the blog. So if you're not familiar with it, it's stockalertsreview.com, Paul Mampilly. I'll leave this in the description below so you guys can go and check it out for more details. But let's go through it a bit and see what there is going on here. So Profits Unlimited is done by, like I said, Paul Mampilly. He's an American investor and former hedge fund manager. So he's a Wall Street insider basically, but now he's started his own service where he has over 130,000 subscribers all checking out his picks. So there's various different parts to this. There's monthly issues and special reports, and then there's alerts as well from when Paul is saying to buy and sell. So the cost is one of the best things about this service. It's only $19 for a 6-month test drive, $97 per year, so extremely low cost. It's like, I mean, who's not going to be able to make $97, right, back over the course of a year? Even the smallest accounts would find that relatively easy to do, as long as the picks are high quality, which I'll show you in a minute. So the pros of Profits Unlimited is that Paul does a ton of research. He has this 6-step system where he basically tries to pick the most disruptive companies poised for biggest growth. So one of the most impressive things is his stock portfolio performance, which I'm going to dive into in a little bit. But there's also a library of good sort of reports and different tools. And some of it's good, some of it's a bit fluff, but I'll show you that too in this review. So what do you get in the Profits Unlimited subscription for $97? Well, first of all, you get the monthly newsletter. So it usually goes into some sort of topic like the future of batteries in, Teslas, or cryptocurrency, where Bitcoin's going, this kind of thing. You also get at least one recommendation every month, sometimes more, sometimes less though. In fact, it's usually one a month, sometimes a couple more, but typically no more than 2 a month. So these are stocks that they're poised to go up over the next few years. So generally you buy them and hold them for a little bit. The weird thing is they offer text alerts, whereas really an email is more than enough if you're buying to hold, because these things go down usually before they go up. So it's not a huge rush to buy these stocks, but it's a nice touch having SMS as well, I guess. Here are the fluffy reports that I was telling you about. These trillion endless energy, get rich on battery breakthrough. You see this all the time in the sales material. I'm convinced these are just bonuses to try and hook you in. I've read through them. They're not bad, fairly interesting, but not worth, really paying for. So basically Paul was born in India and he came to the United States and basically started the whole American dream thing where he rose to the prominent positions on Wall Street. But eventually he decided to just retire because it was too much stress and make some money for himself. So he retired at 42, which is pretty good. It's always fun to retire early. And now he runs this Profits Unlimited. He has a few other services in here too. I'm going to try them out and it'll be the subject of future reviews. But really this is the only one I want to talk about today. So here's something that basically he says, so for the first time ever, I'm giving you a chance to look over my shoulder and invest in the same types of companies that enabled me to retire in my 40s and say goodbye to Wall Street forever. And while I made millions of dollars making profits just like these ultra rich, my research could be yours for less than the cost of a steak dinner. Now, I want to say up front here, like, from my analysis of this guy's portfolio, that's completely true, and you'll see why in a minute. So the weird thing is he has this system, he dressed it up a little bit, he calls it going upness, which is a little odd. The 6-point framework for evaluating whether the stocks he's looking at meet his long-term investing criteria. But at the end of the day, it's nothing fancy, it's just typical fundamentals of a stock that anybody who's doing basic research on a stock or a company would do. So things like, what are the insiders doing, and is there innovation here? Is it growing year over year? So he gives a whole ebook on the system, but really it's not super duper revolutionary stuff. It's just fundamental research. But he seems to have honed it down into these 6 critical categories, so it seems to work, so I'm not going to argue with him, but it seems a little dressed up. So people buy these things to make money, and that's really what matters, right? It doesn't really matter how they're finding the stocks, as long as they go up and they make you money over the long term. So I'm going to dive into the portfolio a little bit. It was actually Mark that wrote this review, and I'll make sure I link you guys to this article. But Mark also found that this is an extremely profitable and impressive portfolio that Paul has put together. So I'm going to go to the Profits Unlimited site here. So Banyan Hill is who runs this, basically. It's like the umbrella company. So this is inside the Profits Unlimited dashboard. The first thing I want to show you is the recent trade alerts. So these are the types of alerts that come out. So I had a quick look at these and I pulled them up, so they're up the top here. So buy plug on April 26th. If you'd bought plug on April 26th, you'd be pretty annoyed by now because it's come all the way down in a couple of weeks without really going any higher. So you've lost 10% right off the bat. The other one before that was April 23rd by coin. So here's coin. 23rd of April was here, so a similar story here, just straight down. And then mRNA, April 22nd, here it is here. April 22nd, you got a little boost and then it'd be all the way down. Here's the thing though, this isn't a great start, right? You look through the last 3 stocks that this company, or Paul, has put out there. But that's not really the full story because the market tanked on these days as well. So they all got dragged down. So I'm not too worried about this. It's a local minimum that doesn't really mean a whole lot, right? If we look at the actual portfolio performance over years, so here's the actual portfolio. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's open that I don't really want to dwell on because it's not really fair to paying subscribers. But I think what we can show you is past positions. So over here, past positions. And there's a whole list of about 60 odd past positions. So to make this easier, I put it into a spreadsheet for you guys. Here it is. There's 60 odd closed positions. You can see the dates in this column here, the tickers in this column here, and the dates that they were sold here. So buy date here, sell date here, and then percentage gain on this right hand column. So you can see the sort of stuff he's buying is CGNX. He got a 53% gain over 3 years, 18 to 2021. And then there's PTC, 2016, wow, so 5 years he's up to 172% gain. So these things are returning, it's just they're taking years. So it's not really like a short-term thing at all, so you could drop 10, 20% in there in between, maybe even more. But ultimately, this portfolio is shown to be very, very profitable. So going down a little bit, you can kind of see that the gains are always bigger than the losses. Look at these guys. CMG, 18 to 21, 3 years, 237%. And what's really noticeable as you go down is you see lots of triple digit gains, but typically the losses are only about 23, 25% or less. So you can really see that this would be a profitable portfolio. Sometimes they're only held for a year. Here's this one, not even a year actually, half a year, 20%. And it's a pretty impressive list, so you can kind of check some of these out, see what they've done over the years. But really the bottom line is when you add up all these percentage gains, so assuming that they are putting the same position size into each of these trades, then you should be able to just add these up, right? We don't know if the position size is the same, but most people invest a similar position size in each of their trades. So if you do that, and that's what I basically did for you guys, is you go down here and look at this, 2,173% gain in this portfolio over 3 or 4 years, which is pretty incredible given that you just buy these things and hold them, given there's a ton of volatility in the process, but still it's pretty impressive. So I have to say I'm quite excited about this service. I just signed up for it. Mark likes it. He wrote this review like I said, and I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's going to be a really good one. But here's the thing that I haven't mentioned. So what tends to happen is because Paul has such a huge following of 100,000 subscribers, when he announces one of these every week or two, they tend to spike quite a bit on the announcement as all the subscribers hurry to buy in. So you can actually capitalize on that. So my plan is to actually buy these on that, day trade them with a big position size, sell them and buy back in to hold for the longer term. So you can make 5%, 10% on your account in that day trade and then put a smaller position in to hold for the longer term. So you get the best of both worlds, right? And that's what I love about like the Motley Fool. I did a video on that if you want to check that out, where it's the very same thing. You can get the spike when they send out the alert, but then you can also hold them for longer term gains as well. So it does seem that Paul has a nose for finding these winners. I think it's pretty impressive. So year-to-date return in 2020 was 200%, which is just incredible. And Mark even went as far to say he's selling his own stocks that he's been holding for 3 to 5 years to replace them with every pick that comes out from Profits Unlimited. So that definitely says something for this. And I know Mark is quite a harsh critic when it comes to these newsletters. So the fact that he gave this an overall final grade of an A, I guess for the price, it's just a fantastic service. So I hope you guys find that useful and that you try this service, maybe look into it a bit more. But for what's basically what you'd pay for coffee for a week or 2 weeks, you can get this fantastic service. So I hope that's helpful, and I'll catch up with you guys in the next video. Thanks.